guys, Ramblin Bob here again, and today I want to talk about power stations. Holy cow, what a new surprise. Okay, so another power station that really has caught my eye over the last year or so is the Oukitel. I believe it's Oukitel or Acoupowers. I call it Oukitel, but I think it's Oukitel. The ABERL, A-B-E, let's see, E-A-R-L, the P5000. Now, those of you who follow the channel know that I have two P2001 Oukitel power stations, and I've used them many times for many different uses. I always enjoyed the speed that you can charge them with and the unbelievable inverter power for AC, where you can literally go past the 2,000 watt inverter mark and all the way up to about 2,500 watts for a short time. Now that's 25% higher than the rated output of the AC inverter, and any product that has that kind of a power push is really good. It's kind of like having, boy, a V8 engine when you only need a go-kart. I mean, that's really nice to have that extra power just in case if you have to go over the amount of the AC inverter because of an emergency or something. So that could really get you out of a bad situation, and an extra 500 watts is a lot. So I just want to take the time to look at this power station here, and we want to see the pictures first. I always like enjoying looking at all the pictures, and that way you can see the first kind of response that you get from the visuals of how the machine looks, as far as, you know, like buying a brand new car. You want to look at it and see if you like the cosmetics of it, and then you kind of get into the whole brass tacks of the specs of it, which is the battery capacity and, you know, the output and everything. But I always look at the system first. It's kind of like buying a car. So what I noticed right away, it has the same top as my P2001. I liked that it was a very durable, easy removable. There's 4 long rods that go down here, I'm assuming, at least at the P2001. If they kept that same style, there's 4 little rubber things that you take off in the corners, these long rods that go all the way down and screw to the bottom of the case down here, and then you pull those all the way out. They're very long. I made a video of that, guys. You can go back and see on the other one. And this whole top comes off, which gives you unbelievable access to the entire inside of the system without digging through holes or something like that. So I like that. The huge thing right off the bat for me is obviously the cart under the bottom, which is really nice, and the cover. Now, you don't want to use this cover, obviously, when you're having the machine on, of course. Not a good idea, guys, because it could overheat and start a fire. But as far as storage and transporting this thing, holy cow, that's cool. Not to mention, if you were to carry this in an area that you're not too sure of, this kind of looks like, other than the name, if people know the name, this looks like a very large cooler that you would have food in there, and not a $3,000 power station hiding underneath this thing. So that's pretty cool. And then there's little flaps right here that open up so you can carry it. Be warned though, this system at 5,000 watt hours, it's actually 5,120 watt hours of battery capacity, guys. That system, I guarantee, weighs more than 100 pounds. Probably I'm going to guess about 110 pounds. That is a lot of weight inside there, and it's very deceiving until you go to pick it up. And if you're not used to picking up 100 pounds, holy cow, that's a lot of weight for a lot of folks. I do really enjoy the screen. This is a really nice feature, I think, because the original one had the screen right about here on mine. It was kind of in the middle, but I love that they put it up here. It's on an angle. You don't have to duck down to see it. When I use this thing outside, I noticed that when the angle is here, like say if I have this here and I'm sitting next to this in a chair, notice that my eyes are looking down at it. And if it was on the front of the screen, as the two that I have, it's very hard to see that screen. So I have to kind of bend my head down and look this way, and then I can see how much power I have back, or what's coming in, or what's going out. But being that it has an upwards angle, love it. That's a great addition. I don't know as far as how safe it is if you drop something. It doesn't look like it's much of an angle, but I think it's at a good viewing angle to really help. I also know that they kept the there's a little almost like a glove compartment up here behind the screen, and you pop it open and you can put the charging cable and the MC4 cable in there, or Anderson or whatever you use, right inside there, guys. That's cool, because that's one of the very few power stations that I've seen and that I own personally that has that little glove compartment. I really like that. Yes, it does take up a little bit more space, but holy cow, is that cool. If you're out and about, you can put your wallet in there, you can put your keys in there. If you're camping, you can throw your money in there. Anything that's small enough to fit into a small glove compartment is wonderful if you're camping and you want to keep it in there so you don't lose it at your campsite. I can't imagine or even remember how many times I lost stuff if I went fishing or I went camping or boondocking or whatever, and you literally you drop your keys in the darn grass or in the woods or something like that, or on the trail down to the river or lake, and oh, what a bad experience that is to lose your keys or something. So that's a really cool feature. I do have that on two of mine. Like I said, the P5000 and one Oukitels. I use the feature every day. Not to mention, when I'm not using that, I keep the cords for this machine, or actually my machines, inside that box, and that way you don't lose those either. There's been times where I brought a power station to an event or an outdoor event or something like that, and I forgot to bring the doggone cable to charge it from the solar. Oh, big mistake, because now you can't have any power coming in while using that box. So that alone, I think, is a wonderful feature. I love the screen, and I love the built-in little I don't know what you call it, little caddy, I guess. Very, very cool. And then, as you see, when you set it down, it sits on the four little saucer things here. Boy, I don't even know what you call it. Almost like a cart rack kind of thing. A trolley. There you go. It's a built-in little trolley there, and it has this little handle. You push the button, and it pops out, and then you can tilt it up and walk away without carrying 100+ pounds, guys. Probably 110 pounds. That is a lot of weight. All right, let's go to picture number 2. There's a much clearer picture of it. So here's your bumpers. This is pretty neat, because when you tilt it up and use it in the trolley mode, you have these little rubber bumpers that way you don't scratch up all your cases, and it keeps everything away from either the fans and the porch, just so stuff doesn't get scratched up and stuff, or possibly broken. It keeps it up. Looks like about maybe 1 inch off the ground, maybe 1.5 inches, but very nice feature that they thought about. Here's your ports here. So this flops open, and then you have all of your little charging ports right in here. This looks like, and I'm just going to guess, I'll know in a minute. Let's see if I can get in closer. No, it's not very clear. This looks like an Anderson. I'm sorry, an XT60. This, I don't know what it is. And then this is obviously your AC to the wall, and I believe this is your circuit reset in case you have a problem. That's pretty cool. Here's your power button, very simple. This almost looks like a reset button where you poke a little pin in there and reset it. I don't know yet, I'm just guessing. This is kind of my first impressions of seeing the system. And then here you have two cigarette lighter outputs. These are cool because you have your traditional 12 volt. I think it's 15 amp or 10. It's probably 10 amp. Boy, it's hard to see. The pictures are kind of blurry. But this is a huge one, guys. This is a 24 volt, I believe, at 10 amp. I'll know in a minute once I go on the bottom and read the specs. But this is huge, guys, because with something like this, you can run like a diesel heater or something like that. And then you have your traditional barrel outputs. These are either going to be 5521 or 5525. Also, we'll know in a minute. These are your 3 buttons to turn on each section. It's very clearly marked, so you don't make a mistake. Here you have your 20 amp max. I believe it's a 110 volt system, but as I said, we'll know in a minute. It possibly could be 120. I hope it is, because my P2001 was a 110, and I really wish it was a 120. And then this is a nice 30 amp output, which is probably 120 here. Very nice, because then you can put a lot more power out. It's not a full output for like RVs, but it can be used for higher, like drills, impacts, wrenches, or saws, or something like that. Very nice addition to the system. This port and this port is a very nice addition that I don't have on mine. And then in the middle here you have your two, everybody calls them, well, everyone I know calls them grandpa ports. These are USB-A at 2.4 amps. So they put out very basic power. It's very good if you're charging something small and you want to let it charge overnight or something like that. These are quick charges, guys. So I believe these are going to be 18 watts. So that's much better, about 50% more power than these. If these are 12, these are 18. So you do get 50% more power than the traditional ones, and that way you can quick charge things like tablets and phones and whatnot. But then here, these are the money makers, guys. These are PD100 ports. I can barely read them, but I know what they are. These are 100 watts, and I believe it's 100 watts a piece. We'll also know, hopefully down in the specs they'll clearly mark that. You turn a little button on for USB and all 6 of these become active. So basically you can power dump or charge 20 volts at 5 amps. That's the newest protocol right there for USB-C. That's a lot of power going through a very skinny little cable. If you look at your USB-C cable, look how skinny that little sucker is. And the new cables, other than having a new pin and new wiring inside, they look absolutely identical to the wires that you've been using for years, the USB-C. So always keep in mind that you do need a power delivery 100 watt USB-C cable. It's a special cable, and hopefully that'll be inside this system. If not, you always want to make sure you get the right cable so you get that 100 watts out. This, I don't know if it opens or not. We'll hopefully see in the pictures here. Okay, so here's what the ports open. Yep, this looks like a kind of an RV kind of plug. I don't use ours, and I know that comes at 30 amp and a 50 amp. I don't use this plug, guys. I'm an old school guy. I just put the power stations in the RV and I use them with extension cords to where I need to go. It's much easier putting this into your main system and then running safer when you need to use your RV. Here's that special port, and I do like, I take that back. I love that they changed the port so someone doesn't accidentally put a cigarette lighter that's 12 volt in this port. That could be a huge mistake because you'll burn out whatever you hook it to. That's a very good thing. I think that is a very positive thing in this system. Let's see, the little flaps, they're not waterproof, of course. Well, the system's not waterproof. These are watershed, so if something were to spill, all of these little things protect. You can buy, guys, I noticed that on Amazon or eBay or places like that, you can buy these little plastic little covers that you shove inside these little USB things. If you want to protect your system a little bit better, you can also buy these. They do make them for like laptops when you travel, and it's they're very cheap, like $5-10 something like that, and you get these little USB little black or yellow or whatever color you want. You shove them in there, and that protects these ports from any kind of oxidation from water or just dirt and dust and all. Cause it's a really cool thing to have those, guys. Let's see. Go to the next one. Here's the other side. Very, very, very simple, very basic, and very straight to the point. Here's the handle that pops out with the little button that you have to push this, and then the handle pops out. Here's your watt hour. Look at this big bold letters, guys. This is basically saying I'm a big boy on a block now. 5120. That's a very, very large portable power station. Matter of fact, if I stand corrected, I believe that this is one of the biggest portable self-contained 5,000 watt power stations on wheels that you can literally pick up and throw on the go in a hurry that I've ever seen. Dual fans on both sides. That's awesome, guys, because something this big is going to put out some wattage and take in some wattage, so or amps, and you really want to cool it down. So I do like having multiple fans. It's always good to have dual fans on a system. This one actually has 4, 2 on one side and 2 on the other, because if this fan burns out or stops for some reason, this one keeps going and gives you time to have this one repaired while you can still use the unit at a lower output. That's a big plus. Okay, so then the next one, these are the whole, it's very hard to read, but I'll try to, is a 2200 watt inverter for the AC inverter. Portable power station, guys. This is a monster for a machine. I do hope that the battery capacity is better than what I was getting on mine. Out of the 2,000 watt hours that I have on my P5001, I was getting about 1,550 watt hours. That was only about 75%. I was very disappointed with that as far as the battery capacity. However, it really made up with the little storage box up here, the unbelievable AC inverter quality that was able to go 25% higher than the rated output of what they said it would, and the incredibly fast charging speed of, I think mine was 1,600 watts, and then you can add solar to that. So I think, let's see, it's 500 watts of solar, and I think 1,100 watts of AC. So altogether 1,600 watts you can pump in that system. And this one hopefully, well, it already said it had 18. So let's see if that's just AC, and then you can also put on top of that the solar input. That would be awesome. Okay, so you have the P5000 model. This is 5,120 watt hours, and the battery pack is a 51.2 volt, which is a 48 volt battery pack, guys. That's cool. Here's your charging. I believe it says 1,800 watts max at 15 amps at 100 to 120 volts. I'll be able to read these better on the bottom, guys. I think they should have took a little bit more higher resolution picture so you can read this stuff. Here's your PV input, which is 12 to 120 volts. Guys, that's fantastic. PV 100 watts max input. This is awesome, guys. It's possible that there's two MPPT controllers in there, or one very strong single one, because my system, the P5001, that would only allow me 500 watts of solar, and that was a huge drawback with that system, because if you're trying to fill up 2,000 watts, it would take you 4 hours. And with this system, if you don't have at least 1,000 watts coming in from solar, that's 5 hours in what's known as a solar day. You only get about 5 hours of real good sun during a day, and that's perfect sun, guys. You have no chance of filling this in a day. But now that you can put in 1,000 watts of solar, now you have a chance to fill this in a day. It doesn't mean you're always going to, but it really gives you an opportunity and the chance to do that. That's wonderful. And if you had this in your RV or whatever, or your van, or your workshop, or wherever you use it, and you hooked it to your solar panels, and you didn't need as much power as 5,000 watt hours a day, it could put in 2 or 3 thousand watt hours per day in 2 days, and then it would be full in 2 days. So if you had it like sitting at a cabin or something like that, that's cool. And then your AC output, 2,200 watts. We talked about that. And it does have UPS, guys. That's a huge feature. UPS is an uninterruptible power supply. I always forget what that means. And what happens is, when you hook this to the grid, if you're running all your stuff, like, say you're running medical equipment, stuff that's very, very vital to a lot of people's health and well-being, if the grid were to ever go down, this bad boy would kick on, and you wouldn't even know it turned on. You'd have to walk over, you'd have to walk over and actually see, oh my gosh, the grid is off. And then you'd have 5,000 watt hours of power to back you up until that grid can come back. So if you have like a CPAP machine or something like that, a refrigerator, something like that, you're camping and you have, say you put some expensive food in a portable freezer, refrigerator, and you want to keep it good. This with the UPS, that's what that feature is designed for. Very cool feature. Here now this is the money, guys. I don't know, it's one of the most cool features I've ever seen on a power station. I know I'm a simple person, but excuse me, I do like this little glove compartment thing. I think it's awesome. I really do. They also put 2 little latches here, if you will, the little pressure tabs that go here, and they poke into here. Mine only has 1, but mine also has a little like a curved area where you can actually put your thumb in there and pick it up. So I don't know if this will have a handle on top, or it's far enough away to get maybe a thumbnail in there and pop it up. But this is a very cool feature. Matter of fact, when I show power stations to my friends and family, they don't even know or realize that this is here until I open it, and they go, wow, that's cool. And then, like I said, you put your wallet, your keys, your cigarettes in there, just whatever. I don't smoke, but you know, people can put in there whatever they want. It's cool. And then here's a close-up on the screen, guys. It looks basically the same. Oops, it looks the same. I'm trying to get this to go upwards. There we go. Okay, it looks basically the same as the old one. A little bit different, but mostly the same. This is your power of the battery cells here. Your what's called state of charge, SOC, and then this is a power meter for visually seeing it from a distance. It's a little easier. And then here's the time of how long it would last. Excuse me for a second, guys. Boy, that cold weather's coming in, guys. And then this is obviously your input and your output. We'll know hopefully more down in the specs of the unit. But this, guys, awesome feature. I wish every power station had at least a small little box like that where you can put the cables and stuff in there. Being that this system will not have a big power brick, awesome. You put that cord right in there. You put your solar cord right in there, and boom, you pop out that little handle right here and pop it up on the trolley, and you're gone. I mean, that's cool. What a cool feature. These handles, guys, you can literally stand on them. I've stood on and I've sat on my P5001 system at events. It is that strong, guys. This is, and oh, here's the rubber things where you pop these off, and there's 4 big threaded rods that go all the way the length of this machine. When you first take them out, you're like, holy cow, these are like a 1.5 feet long, it seems. But yeah, very simple design. This whole top pops off. If and when you pop this off, and don't, because you'll void your warranty unless you know what you're doing, make sure that there's obviously a cable that is connected to this screen, because it can't turn on without power, right? So if you're going to be, you know, crazy enough to pop this open by opening these 4 screws, make sure that you unhook safely and rehook this cable right here, and you don't pull it and rip it, because they're very skinny cables in there for the wires. Okay, here's with the handle out. Very simple design, guys. I hope it's very durable. This is, like I said, this has got to be a 110-pound system, guys. This has to be able to hold the angle weight of 110 pounds, which is probably about 50 or 60 pounds on the lift weight. You know, when it's on an angle, because if it's evenly weight distributed, it'll probably make about half here, and then half the weight will kind of be a counterbalance. But when you first pick it up, guys, you're picking up a 100+ pound system on this little handle here. So hopefully that's made very well. Oh, there you go, fully extended. Wow, that looks long. That looks like about a 3-foot handle there. I'm only guessing at the size. I don't know, obviously. I think that's all fully extended. Very neat little compact design, guys. Imagine walking down to the beach, or I'm sorry, rolling down to the beach with 5 kilowatts of power. Like under that little that cover, nobody would even know what you had. You could have a beach party right there. I mean, 5 kilowatts, that's a lot of power, guys. That is a lot of power to have mobile. Boy, the times have changed, aren't they? Holy cow. These power stations literally, to me, are like candy, guys. You know, when you're a kid and you first discover candy, which was very young, boy, you never forget candy. Candy is just something that's grabbed us all for life. Here's the power station panels that they have, guys. Very nice. I do like the all black power station panel look. I'm sorry, solar panels look, because I don't, maybe I outgrew them. I don't like the traditional, you know, big silver solar panel looking thing. It looks like, if you will, your granddaddy solar panels, you know what I mean, that you'd have on a farm. These are very up to date, solid, you know, solid black, nice looking solar panels. Not to mention, if you have this sitting up there, most people wouldn't even know what this is. They would just think it's just a piece of board sitting there. Obviously, people who know what a solar panel is now, they know. But there's a lot of people out there, guys, that if it doesn't look like a traditional solar panel, they have no idea what it is. I've seen solar panels that unfold on a backpack, you know, while you're hiking, and they just hang down off your back, and you never would have known that was a solar panel. Some of them, they're just really a cool new technique. That's free, guys. I think we're back to picture number 1. Yep. So that's all the pictures, guys. Let me see if I can get out of here. And then instead of all of this, we're going to go right down. I want to go to the brass tacks, the bread and butter of a system, which is we can look at a few pictures here real quick. Yep, 1,000-watt solar input. Holy cow. Oh yeah, lithium iron phosphate batteries, guys. This is huge. I forgot to mention this because they didn't have it listed up there. So you have lithium ion batteries, which can be very volatile in a overcharged state. or an overpowered state. But lithium iron phosphate batteries are much safer and much easier to work with. You have 1400 watt seamless UPS. That's cool, guys. Right from the wall, 1400 watts, uninterruptible power supply. Here's your AC charging. I always like the little pictures that they put. Very cool. Like this, it looks cool. It reminds me of something like if you guys remember Star Trek, you had the warp core, where it's just like you know, it's just neat looking. I don't know. Like I said, I'm a simple guy. Here's your output, 2200 watts, 4000 watt surge. Guys, that's huge. That's huge. And if by chance that this can go 25% over the rated power that the P5001 could, that I have tested twice on 2 machines, or many times on 2 different machines, that would be able to almost go up to about 2800 to 3000 watts for a short time. That would be a monster for an emergency. Great. And then 1000 watt solar, suitcase design. I call it a trolley, I guess, but very cool. Yep, massive, guys. This is the big boy on the block for Oukitel or Oukitel. You know, it's tomato, I guess. But yeah, neat system here. This, you can kind of see the size of it, guys. This is not a small box. Excuse me, boy, that weather's coming in. So you can see this is probably I'm gonna guess a 16-inch tire. I don't know, but you can see that this is a big system right here. This is not a small boy for sure. And then notice they're coming out with that big 30 amp, and that goes right into their system somewhere in their house. So neat. Power 95% at home plus. Absolutely, guys. I don't think there's anything in your house, literally, including washers and dryers, that you couldn't put on this. I mean, here's a washer. I think this is I call it a cappuccino. Cappuccino machine. I think this is another power station. It's a full-size refrigerator with dual doors, fans, laptops. This is either coffee pot or a hot water boiler. This looks like a heater, possibly. Microwave, drones. This looks like one of those steam cleaners. Headphones, obviously. Excellent. I love to get a van like this, guys. These every time I see the UPS or FedEx guys come with this van, I'm like, oh, I'll trade you whatever that package is for this whole van. Toaster, cameras. Here's an electric chainsaw. Jeez Louise, guys. Here's a movie screen. So it was something that didn't exist maybe 5-ish years ago, 4-ish years ago. Of this size maybe a year ago. This is unbelievable that you could power all this stuff, guys, in emergency. That is a game changer, to say the least. Holy crapzilla. Here you can fully charge it in about 3 hours with dual input. There you go. That's what I wanted to know. Dual input from AC outlets and solar panels. It can be fully charged in 1.8 hours, and I'm assuming that's full AC. And, oh, here you go. Full AC and full. Look at this. 2,800 watts, guys. Holy crapzilla. To be able to put 2,800 watts, that's an entire huge array of solar at 1,000. I mean, 1,000 watts of solar is a big array. You know, it usually takes about either 2 extremely large panels or 5 average 200 watt panels, or 10 100 watt panels. That's a big array. It takes up a lot of space. And then here's your 1,800 from the wall, guys, and then 1,800 from a power generator, guys. Holy cow. The times have just... But it seems a year ago, guys, I was, working with like a 600 watt power inverter, power station, and thinking, boy, that's the bee's knees. That's the cat's meow right there. I got the biggest thing on the block. And the next thing you know, this 5,000 comes out. And it dwarfs it, like that 600 doesn't even exist. Holy cow. As you can see the size again, guys, this is probably about maybe a 24-inch, 2 feet off the ground. Seat, a countertop is usually about 30 inches off the ground, so you can kind of see about the size. But we don't know if this is a real picture or not. So once we get down in the specs, this one in the tech specs, then we can actually see the real size of it. See, it looks bigger than what it is because it's in the foreground of the picture. Very clean looking, simple system. It's very, very straightforward. Let's see here, built-in MPPT controller. Okay, so being that it used the word controller, that means that it should have one controller. So there's a 1,000-watt MPPT controller built in. That's cool, as opposed to having two. Now there is a plus side to having two, but it takes up more space, and it's more costly because you're putting another piece of technology in there, being a board. Is if for some reason you burn out this MPPT controller, if you have, like if you guys remember the Pecron E2000 LFP that I have, that has dual MPPT controllers in there, which means if you burn one out, you have another one to get you through the event or the day or the week or the holiday until you can get it fixed. That's kind of cool. Being that you can also go up to 120 volt solar panels, guys, that is huge. Mine, the P2001, only would go from 12 to 48 volts input for solar. I think that was a huge mistake for being that big of a system that only go up to 48 volt. I would have liked to have seen at least 60 or possibly 90, 95, somewhere in that. But this one, 120, guys. And please remember, anything over 48 volts DC can go directly through your skin into your heart and possibly kill you. Very, very rare instances, but it has happened. So be careful playing around with DC power, guys. It's not, or any kind of power. It's not a joke. Learn about this stuff before you get out there and start, hot swapping cables and things like that. Take precaution, guys. I'd rather have you stay as a subscriber on this channel for a very long time rather than end up in the hospital and then you have to watch, these videos from a hospital bed. We don't want that, guys. So here you go. An outdoor table is usually only about 2 feet tall. So this is probably, I'm going to guess, about 22 inches tall. That's just a guess. We'll see when we get down there. I do like the clean panels. I do like the all black. This kind of looks like, if you guys remember the review I did with the PV330, the Pecron and the Blue Eddy Power 350 watt. It kind of looks like that, where there's like a quad fold, or actually a three-fold here, trifold. This one goes, let's see, forward, and then this one goes forward, and then this one goes forward. It makes like a briefcase. So very, very simple, cool design. This is, I guarantee this is a very long, this is probably 80 inches here, maybe more, and then probably about 3 feet, possibly more tall. So this is a very large solar panel, guys. Hopefully that's, I'm gonna guess 300 watts, but we have to wait to, see that one day. Here it says I don't know how to say, AMPERE P5000 adopts a premium EV grade lithium iron phosphate. This is the chemistry listing, LFP for lithium iron phosphate, if you don't know. Up to 35,000 cycles. I hope that's 3,500 cycles to 80%. That is the industry standard of what I know. It could be different, but of what I've learned, 3,500 cycles for lithium iron phosphate batteries is the industry standard. And that's if you don't abuse the batteries, guys. That's a huge thing. Don't abuse batteries. Don't go too low. Once you get down to about 20%, start looking for a way to, start putting energy back in the system or slow down your output, because imagine if you're running a marathon and you try to push your body at the last mile. Obviously that's hard on your system, aka your body. So that's what it does to the battery cells, guys. They get overpowered at the last bit because that's when the voltage of the battery is at its weakest, hence lowest. So once it gets down to 20%, you really want to start charging. And if you really want to prolong the life of a battery cell, guys, what I learned from Will Prowse and a lot of people, Jason Lloyd, there's a lot of channels that I watch, guys. If you want to really prolong it, charge it to about 90% and then stop. Don't force a system all the way full all the time, unless you want to or have to. And then try not to go under 20. That's what's known as the sweet spot, and that's where the battery cells are most comfortable. It's not over kind of charging, and it's not under charging kind of thing, like under voltage. You have a, if you go back and watch the video that I did where you pour the soda into the glass, and notice how fast the bubbles go over the top of that's what happens when you push a system too hard, too fast, is the energy has nowhere to go and it has to settle. And, you know, obviously when the bubbles settle, you know, then it's fine. But when you push it so hard at the highest or lowest point, that's when you have the most problem with battery cells, guys. So if you really want to get that 3,500, you know, go easy on them. You know, it's like your car. Don't go slamming that gas pedal and the brake pedal and the gas pedal unless you're a race car driver, then it's okay. Or you're late for work. No, I'm just kidding. But the best way to prolong it, guys, is obviously don't abuse your batteries, guys. You know, very, very big thing. Oh, here's your weight, guys. So I was 4.5 pounds off, almost, holding a massive capacity of 5,120 watt hours. The AMPERE 5000 only weighs 114.6 pounds, guys. Holy cow. If you cannot pick, here's the size, guys. If you cannot pick up 100+ pounds, do not hurt your back. That's why it has wheels. I've seen people that make like a little ramp, and then they can pull heavy stuff at a job site up into their vehicle or RV. Or you know what? The buddy system, guys. That's not a joke. I've seen a lot of people hurt their lower back, especially the lumbar region of your lower back. You will hurt your lower back if you're not used to picking up 100+ pounds. And if you like, I'll give you a prime example. There's live weight and dead weight. There's some people out there who don't understand live weight and dead weight. So live weight is you grab your friend, you pick him up off the ground, he's 200 pounds, you go, oh, that was easy. That's known as live weight. But when it's dead weight, this is like a barbell. That's dead weight. So this is not your friend. It's not going to give you a hug on the way up. It's not going to help you. It's not going to jump for you. This is 100% deadlift that's why they call it deadlift, guys, from the ground up in the air, and that will strain directly into your lower back and possibly your shoulders and rotator cuffs and stuff like that, and your knees, guys. Use your legs. That's why you have them. They're stronger than your arms. You see this girl right here? The muscles in her legs are bigger than the muscles in her arms. There's a reason she walks all day. Now, if she walked on her arms all day, these would be huge and these would be skinny, obviously. But just a joke. That's kind of common sense nowadays. Oh, did I finish that? It's 63% lighter compared to other portable power stations of the same capacity. Guys, I don't remember seeing a 5,000 watt hour power station. If you know of one, please put it in the comments. I'd love to go research that. Maybe I saw one and forgot about it. I don't think EcoFlow has one. I know that Pecron doesn't have one. Blue Eddy, I don't believe, has one. They have modular systems, where you build them. But I don't remember it all in one. Here's a suitcase and go with a telescopic pulling handle that makes it easy to pull that around. I don't remember any other system. Maybe I just missed it, guys. If you know of one, please post a link, and not a link, the name of it, and I'll go research it, guys. Okay, so let's see. Here's your size, guys. I hate when they do this. Okay, obviously these are from overseas. These are millimeters, guys. Oh my goodness, I hate this. Hold on, let me see. 550 millimeters to inches. I always have to have a conversion chart, guys. Okay, so about 20, and I guessed it, about 22 inches. It's 21.5 inches. So you have to obviously convert all of these. So 550 millimeters is approximately 21 or 22 inches. It's actually 21.5 inches. That's a huge thing when you travel, quote, over the pond. The metric system and the imperial system still drive people crazy. I do like when they do this. See this? This is both systems. In one listing here, so you have Celsius and Fahrenheit. Guys, in North America, we know Fahrenheit, and my friends overseas, I have to say, man, it's like 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and then you can see them literally like open their phone and go, oh, that's not bad. Like that conversion is, I wish it was a worldwide universal temperature thing, but same with the size, but I get it. Here's your weight, 52 kilograms. This is something that I learned on a construction site, guys. It's not 100% accurate, but it gives you a good idea before you go, like lifting up something heavy and hurting your back or your arms or something like that. Guys, a kilogram, that's what that stands for, kilogram, 52 kilograms. What people at job sites taught me to do is, if you don't have a conversion chart, always just double the kilograms, and then you'll get approximate weight of you know, what that item weighs. So 52 kilograms would be about 104 pounds. Now, obviously, it's 114, right? But now you know that at least the approximation. It's a good way to guess. It's called an educated guess of what it weighs without whipping out a phone, a conversion chart, these big flippy catalog that, you know, tell you this, that. So that's an easier way. So this would be times 2, add 10. You know, that's 114 pounds. Here's your capacity. I hope to see the battery capacity of this, guys. At least I'm hoping maybe 4,500 watt hours. Still, that's a monster amount of power to go drag it around and then, you know, stop. And can you imagine the kids nowadays pulling something like this up to the corner and having a lemonade stand that's completely lit up with a sign and a cooler and ice and ice makers? Oh my gosh, the times have just changed, guys. Here's your operation temperature. Pretty basic. Freezing, guys, don't go below freezing. Lithium iron phosphate batteries do not like below freezing. Some of them actually have built-in heaters that warm up the battery cells before you charge them and discharge them to protect the battery cells. Lithium ion, that's one plus that lithium ion has over lithium iron phosphate, and that is it could go to approximately -4 Fahrenheit. So you do get a little bit below freezing the battery chemistry of lithium iron phosphate compared to lithium ion. Here's your supercharge, guys. That's a monster. 1,800 watts from the wall. I do hope also that you can alternate the charging speed. I know some power stations have where you can put 600, 1,200, 800, or 1,800. You know what I mean? So you don't max out, because if you put this in your wall, guys, and your excuse me, the weather's getting cold, guys, and there goes your throat gets itchy. The charging speed of the AC, it's nice because then you can slow charge. Like, say, if you don't need the power right now, slow charge your machine, guys. That's huge. You want to talk about another way to save your battery cells? Slow charge it. So if this has an option to where you can change the input 600, 1,200, 1,800, awesome. If you're going to sleep anyway and it's charging all night, let it charge. Obviously, put it in a safe place, of course. Don't leave these unattended, you know, for a very long time. But if it's charging very slow, it's much safer to charge than obviously 1,800 watts. That is a ton of power. You could run 2 heaters for that and heat up your, you know, an entire house with 1,800 watts of heater. That's a lot. You know, obviously depending on how big your house is. The average small house here, you can warm an entire house with 1,800 watts. 120 volts, max 15 amps. Here's your adapter charge US version, which is 1,000 watts. Let's see here, supercharge. That's kind of confusing. I see. Okay, the US version is only 1,000 watt charge. Okay, so that must be the European version that they were talking about up here, unless that is the maybe there's a way to charge this 1,000 watts, and you have this option too. That might be in the side where the you remember it had those 4 little things on the side. I wonder if it actually gave you 2 standard charge and then a supercharge. That would be cool, guys, because then you can slow it down. 5 outputs at 2,200 watts total, guys. 4,000 watts surge. Holy crap, Zilla, guys! You can run some big stuff on that, man. I mean, you could put literally a big old grinder and grind through concrete with that kind of power out. Holy crap, Zilla! Here you got 2 USB quick charge 3.0s. Those are 18 watts, guys. These are all the voltages: 5 at 3 amps, 9 at 2 amps, and 12 volts at 1.3. which equal 18 if you do the math on these things. This is the monster, guys, right here. This is the DC 24 volt output. It's a cigarette style lighter. It's a socket. It's not a cigarette lighter, but it's a cigarette style. Looks like it, but it has those 4 pins. 24 volts at 10 amps, guys. This would run one of those diesel heaters. Another thing I'd like to review is a diesel heater. I think that is a godsend in saving people's possible lives. Truckers have had them for years, 50, 60, 70 years. I have no idea how long, but I had family that were truckers, and they would literally get, they're diesel, of course, hence the name diesel heaters, and they get in their big rigs, and they just flip a switch. You hear this weird ticking. It goes tick, 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 tick. and you're like, what the hell's that? And next thing you know, you have the hottest air that you've ever felt come out of a portable heater in your life. I promise you, unless you have like a heat gun or something like that. And it warms up my now passed away uncle's cab in, I'm talking like minutes. It's too hot. You have to get out. I mean, you have to turn it down or get out. Unbelievable. And that's how those guys are able to live in those big rigs without freezing to death as they're traveling across the country, bringing, ironically, these goods to our home. Thank you, truckers. Here's your standard cigarette lighter, 12 volt, 10 amps. We saw that. Now we're going to go way back up here. This is your size, guys. I hate this millimeter stuff. Now that we know that 550 is about 22 inches tall, it's about 21 and a half. Now you can kind of guesstimate on the rest of these. So this is probably about 18 or so, and then this is probably, yeah, I don't even know, maybe 14, 15. But you guys can do the conversion. Here's your battery. We talked about lithium iron phosphate. Very nice. And then here, this is a big thing, guys. So I noticed that some companies, there's two of them in particular, I don't want to tell the names of them. I don't like the advertising that they're doing. They're doing these, like they're saying like 4,500 cycles to 70% capacity. I don't like that style. Everyone is used to 80%. Stick with the program, or please don't. I mean, you can advertise however you want, but I don't like it, guys. I really dislike that, because if you have 3,500 cycles to 80%, and then you have lithium ion batteries that are 1,000 cycles average to 80%, now you have a frame of reference that makes very simple sense in your brain of what to expect as far as the charging cycles. But if you do, let's say lithium ion batteries, 2,500 cycles to 70%. Well, guys, now you have to do the conversion and math, and that's why they do it, guys. They're trying to artificially kind of inflate, not artificially inflate. I don't know a nice way to say it. Make it look better than it is, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like those are probably the hard numbers, but they make it seem like, wow, 4,500 cycles, but the less battery capacity, and that's a huge difference when you lost another 10% of your battery capacity. So always keep that in mind, guys. Try to rate your systems to 3,500 cycles to 80%, or whatever it is, to 80%, and that way the buying customers out there understand very simply wow, okay, that is better than that or worse than that. Very simple, guys. You know, A's to A's, B's to B's. Don't go A to B and A to C. It's not apples to oranges. It's two different things, because 80 and 70% is apples and oranges. It's two different references, and you have to go do the math to figure out the difference. Here's your storage, guys. Negative 14 to 110. Negative 14 now, so that means you can store this bad boy in sub-freezing temperatures. But remember, when you use it, this is the big thing, do not use it below 32 degrees Fahrenheit, which is freezing. So remember that, guys. You know, that's a big thing. You can store it very, very much colder, negative 14 Fahrenheit, and then use it at freezing, which is 0 Celsius. So that's something to remember if you spend, I don't know what this is. Oh, here, $2,700. If you're going to spend $3,000 on a power station, guys, learn about it before you start wrecking stuff. Okay, so here you go. You have a solar charge XT60, so I was correct on the port. And then you also have a 12 volt, 120 volt. So that's cool. That's straight in 12 volt. Wow, that's 12. Oh, yeah, okay, so this is your solar input. I'm going to assume, because it doesn't say, I'm going to assume it's Anderson power pole, because my system, the P5001, has the Anderson power poles. That's something that Oukitel or Oukitel liked to use in their previous power stations, up to 15 amps. And then MPPT max 1,000 watts. Awesome. I wish I had that bad boy on my two systems. That's a 100% upgrade from their older system. Here's your car charge and battery charge, 12 volt, 8 amps, which will give you just over 100 watts. But then you also get, look at this, 24 volts, 10 amps, which will give you over 200 watts in. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Big upgrade from my system to this new one. Here's your USB-A. You get two of them. We saw that already. Here's USB-C. 100 watts. Now look at this, guys. This is big money right here per port. That means that you should be able to, according to how they wrote it, 100 watts through one port and 100 watts through the other port. I don't know if you can use at the same time though. That has to be determined by other reviewers on YouTube. And then here you have your two DC 12 volt sockets, 12 volt at 3 amps. These are basically the barrels, guys. Very, very simplistic ones. These are for old stuff. If you're charging like walkie-talkies, portable ham stuff, you know, they have the little barrel port. I don't use it anymore. I haven't used barrels in a very long time. But it's nice that they still include them, because there is some old fellas out there like me that do have it. I don't, but they do use older technology or have it laying around where they can still utilize this. Like I'll be honest, I have RC cars. I love RC cars, guys. I'm a big kid. Me and my wife drive RC cars around all the time in the summer, obviously, and it does have a function where I can plug in my DC charger for the lithium-ion battery packs, which are called LiPo batteries. That's a short term for it. That's the chemical composition on the periodic table. They can plug directly into the barrel, into the little LiPo charger, and then you can charge your little LiPo batteries or your big LiPo batteries in some instances, and then you could run out and use it that way. But it also has an AC charger, so DC is obviously a lot more or a lot better for conversion ratio when you're going DC to DC, guys. Obviously, it's you get better conversion rate. But I do have the ACs. But it's nice. It's nice that they left them on there for the older folks like me. Here's your warranty, guys. 3 years out of the box. Nice. Now here's the big thing, guys. This is what comes in the system, and I like it already. But I don't see, guys, you know what I don't see? Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, so let's take a look here. This is the main system. Obviously you get that for $3,000. You should definitely get that. User manual, guys. This is awesome. I will try to put up the user manual in a video form on the channel, because a lot of folks like that, where they can actually go through and watch a video and kind of pause it and read it that way when they're out and about. So I do that as a favor on the channel. Here's your car charging, guys. This is an XT60. Whenever you see that yellow like that, some are black, but it's a very easily distinguishable port. It's called XT60, and they also have an XT30 and an XT90. And as you can understand, the 30, 60, and 90 have different amperage, and that's why they make it bigger, to be able to hold the amperage and watts that run through that without overheating. So obviously you need bigger pins and a larger connection. And you can't mix them up, guys, because they're physically different sizes. So you can't put an XT90 in an XT60 hole. It's too big. You can't put an XT30 in an XT90 hole. Obviously, it's too small. Well, you could, but it wouldn't hook up because it's too small. So a very, very simplistic thing. But like in a USB, you can put version 1, 2, 3 right in that port, right? And in power, that would be dangerous. So at least the USB is a different form of charging. And then obviously your cigarette lighter that goes in your car, your RV, your truck, your camper, whatever. And then you have your picture of your happy family using the Oukitel with all the cables. And then very clean picture, guys. I like that. I don't know if it's actually hooked to anything, because I don't see any cables running across the floor. Guys, these pictures are always funny because you don't know if they're real or not. If you had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, or if those are shadows, if you have 2 big cables running across the floor, they should be plugged into something, you'd think. But here's your charging cord, guys. Awesome upgrade. These are very, very heavy duty, thick, high quality cables. A lot of copper in there. If you bend them, they're very, very stiff. That's how you can get that 1800 watts through this cable. Very, very high quality cables. I've done a lot with AC cables. They call them power cables or computer cables. In my lifetime, I've had hundreds of these. This is a very, very nice certified stamped cable that they give you with their machines. I got to give them very, very big props for that. And also the plastic, I think it's ABS plastic that they mold these out of. Very, very durable, guys. I have, like I said, I have 2 Oukitel P5001s I've had for a year now. Other than when my wife kind of dragged it across the paint, trying to take it out of the trunk of her car. There's very little red on it now, and you can literally just clean that off. They have held up unbelievably. Like I said, I sat on them. I literally sat on this. I've stood on it when I couldn't reach something. Very, very very durable plastic. And then here's your charging solar cable, guys, which is your MC4. I'm glad they went to MC4, guys. That's the industry standard, guys. These cables are waterproof. And the Anderson power pole, I don't know if there is any on here. I didn't see or read anything about it. On the old version, they had Anderson power pole. I didn't like them because A, they're not waterproof, and B, I like MC4 better. You know, everyone has a favorite in life, you know what I mean? And then this is XT60 on the other side. This cable I like much better than the original cable. Also, I noticed that with Anderson power pole, guys, even though they're very, very good quality little ports, they can wiggle from side to side. And what happens is if they wiggle too far, it messes with the ports inside the system. And if you have to go inside and change that darn port, that's a pain in the butt, guys. XT60, I think, is a much stronger port, much more heavy-duty port because of this plastic protection around the outside. So I like to see that now, guys. So overall, here's your manual. Right now, all you got to do is click this button. You'll download it in a PDF form. Like I said, I'll do that. And I'll upload that in a video form in pictures, and that way people can see it. Guys, overall, here's your quality here, your reviews. All fives, I don't know. If, you know, some companies like to, you know, as you've seen in the past, delete negative reviews. I had that with a few systems where you leave a review and then you go back and your review is gone. That's one of the big reasons why I wanted to start my own channel, is so we can all learn about this together and talk about it. If you have the system already, guys, man, comment away in the comment section, guys. Let us know what you like and what you hate about this system, if anything. If you don't like anything about it, say it. We like to have a very balanced discussion here, so people have their opinions, because your opinion matters the most. I don't care who reviews the power station. I want to hear from both sides, positive and negative, because if you don't have that balance, guys, you don't have a fair debate. You have to have a left and a right in all debates. And then there's your here, I'll download that here. Let's see, I'll download that to, I think, there it goes. I think it went here, okay. Okay, so here's your owner's manual, guys. Probably straightforward. There's your weight. Oh, guys, change these. 114.6 pounds, guys. I noticed that right away. And change them, guys. You know, if you're going to ship these to America, change them. Here's all your, let's see here. Okay, now here, I'm glad I opened this, guys, because they didn't have this on the page. So you have your 7, 8, 9, and 10. So 7 is your DC input, which is your solar panel or DC input. Your 8 is fast AC. It says fast low AC charging, which is 8, which is the second one here. And then the 9 is straight input. I think that's the 1800 watt from the wall. And then here's 10. Yep, I was correct. This is an overload protector, guys. So this is basically a little circuit breaker where if it pops, it's similar to what you have in the basement of your house, which is a circuit that if it pops, when it cools down, you can click it back over, and it's known as resetting the circuit. They're very cool. I don't like the ones that have fuses, guys. We have long surpassed fuses, guys. Get rid of them, because you got to go out and get those stupid little blade fuses and poke them in there. A lot of cars still have blade fuses. I wish they would go to circuit breakers, but I understand why. They're huge, and your solar panel or your dash panel would be, you know, 50% circuit breakers probably. If you ever looked at your little your panel with all your blade fuses in there, you know, you get, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 of them in there. Who knows if you got a big rig and all that stuff. Or an RC has huge panels in there. And then everything else is pretty much the same, guys. There's your power C's. Let's see. Oh, here. This is something they didn't have. Nice. So here's everything that comes up on the display screen. Sorry to make this such a long review, guys. I like to go over everything I can. Every bit of information is important, because who knows, you might need that, you know, small bit of information when you make a deciding factor of whether this power station is good or bad for you. Okay, so we're going to go straight across the board real quick. Number 1 is the using time or charging time. So when you have it off, of course, it'll show you the charging time of how long it takes until, at that rate, it'll charge these to 100%. Very cool. Number 2 is the fan status. Very cool. Actually, I think, oh wait, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead, I'm sorry. 2 is the high temperature protection. So 2 is basically when the battery cells are too hot, this pops on and protects the batteries. And then you have low temperature, so you have high temp cutoff and low temp cutoff with icons on the screen. Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome to have that in the system, guys. Now we get to number 4. That's the fan status. When the fans are activated, this little icon shows, and it usually spins. Mine spins. Number 5 is obviously the main power status of the entire system, which is all the in, out, and everything. Here's your power meter and your percentage, and then 4 little icons that are not clearly marked. I don't know what they do. But very cool that they have all this stuff in a very easy to read, simple, compact little display here. And it's aimed upwards, so you don't have to bend over and read the darn thing on the floor. 6 is your UPS. So when you have it hooked to the grid, this will pop on automatically because that is your universal, boy, here goes my brain again, universal power supply, which, I'm sorry, yeah. Universal Power Supply. It doesn't stand for a UPS delivery service. So this pops on and tells you that it's active and ready to go. 7, I always, but with all this technology, guys, and all the stuff in your head, you do forget stuff, and I apologize for that, guys. I'm not a professional by any means. Here's your PV charging. So when you have your solar panels plugged in, here's a little button that shows you that, hey, they're still hooked up in case, just for whatever reason. You want to make sure that your panels. Here's a really good reason to have this button, guys. And most people don't think about this, other than obvious power coming in. If you have your power solar panels outside, like say your RV or something, and someone unhooks them and runs away with them. I mean, it has happened, guys. I've seen it. It's horrible. Then you'll know by either your power input or your thing that someone or something has disconnected, or if you have a short, it'll tell you right away. You could have in your 50-foot run or whatever. Who knows how long your run's going to be? Try to keep it as short as you can, obviously, for best power transfer. But some people have 100-foot cable runs at 8 gauge. The huge amount of copper, and that could get messed up anywhere along that run. And obviously, you have to go find out where the problem is, whether it's the connection or the cable, and it'll tell you right away with obviously the power input, and the little button would disappear because your connection has been hence cut or severed. So let's see here. 8 is your total input power in watts, obviously. It doesn't show amperage. I wish it did. 9 is total output power, so you can go, remember, up to 2200 watts at 60 hertz. It has a pure sine inverter, guys. I don't believe I read that listed on the main page. I think that's something that's very important that you always want to remember, because pure sine inverter, guys, is a much cleaner power distribution than modified. Modified is I don't want to call it garbage, guys. I don't like it for very sensitive equipment. If you have expensive stuff, please don't hook it to a modified sine wave. It's not good for the equipment. Go out and spend the extra money and get a pure sine wave inverter. They're much cheaper than what they used to be, guys. I don't like modified. It's just personal opinion. So let's see here. You have your aerial socket, 24 volt. Okay, so that is kind of like, if you remember, Pecron has that 5-pin aviation. I believe that's an aviation socket, guys, but they call it aerial, hence the same thing. They just have a different name for it. But that's a little 4-pin port that goes in, and that way it'll have like a tab on the top, so you can't put it in the wrong way. Very, very simplistic use. It's kind of like a USB. There's an upper and a bottom. USB-C, you can flip either way, and it goes right in. And obviously, for charging something, that would be very dangerous. So they have a little notch or a socket on the top of it that only goes in one way. They call it, I know it sounds bad, they call it idiot-proof, guys, in the electronic field, which means you can't put it in any other way unless you smash it in there, and then hence you'd be an idiot. So sorry, but that's what they call it. Here you have number 11 is the cigarette lighter, which is obviously the okay. Oh, okay. Sorry, I just had to reset the brain here. The cigarette lighter is the icon for the cigarette lighter, obviously, which is number where are we at? 11. The cigarette lighter. So when this is active, obviously that'll pop up, and then this is your DC. I'm assuming. Yep, DC 12 volt right here. So these will light up on the screen. I almost forgot that we're still on the screen. Let's see. Number 13 is silent mode, guys. That's cool if you want to keep it very slow charging, and that way the fans don't kick on and wake you up, so you can sleep and nap and watch a movie and you know, relax and enjoy nature or whatever you're doing, watching the birds. It's a silent feature that doesn't allow the system to go past a certain point, so the fans and the power kicks on too much. Let's see, we are on number 14, constant power mode. 14. I don't know what that means, constant power mode. I'm assuming it has something to do with UPS, but I'm not sure. Sometimes the definitions down here are very not translated as well, so we understand it good over in this country. Fast charging mode, I love this, guys. The first time I saw that on my P5001s, I saw this supercharge come up. You have it on your phone, guys. If you want to try something, hook a 100-watt USB-C cable from a power bank into your phone, and you will see it'll say like supercharging or something. Most people don't even know that your phone has this. Of course, it wreaks a little havoc on the battery cells because you're pushing it fast. But in a sense of an emergency or something where you need it charged right now, boy, you can put some power into a phone. I had no idea. And of course, it'll heat up a little bit, so make sure it's in a well ventilated area so it can cool down a little bit. But boy, that's a neat thing to see. It just gives you a good tap on the shoulder. You know, good job, kid. You're really putting that power in there. That was cool to see. I like that. And try that on your phone. You'll really be surprised. First time I saw that my phone charged rather than in 2 hours with the, you know, or hour and a half, 2 hours with the standard charger, it did it in an hour. That you save 100% of the time. Well, 50 to 100% of the charge time, and that's huge if you're in an emergency or you got to go to work or whatever. You can hurry up and get that power in there. Or if you have a limited access to a power station or a power charging station, they call them at a live event, a concert or something like that. They have like walls where you can plug your phone in and stuff. Okay, so let's see, where do we leave off here? Fast charging mode, okay. Slow charging mode, so that'll tell you obviously if you're in slow charging mode, which is the 16. So this is standard charging, and then that's speed charging right there. I'm sorry, this is speed charging, this is standard charging. And then 17 is your overload protection, which means if you have a problem where you burned out too many watts at too much, you're pushing too hard, the system will overload to protect everything inside the vitals, which is the everything, the MPPT controller, the AC and DC inverters, the battery cells, the BMS, everything shuts down and says, hey guys, you screwed around and pulled out too much power or put in too much power, we're going to go into overload, so you have to individually reset it, and that way you don't start a fire or cause a problem or damage to your system. 18 is your, let's see, your USB out. So when you have your USB outs, this light will turn on. This is your USB-C light. 20 is your AC if you have that output going on, and your, let's see, frequency switching. So if you had it to, this is very nice that it says this, guys, because a lot of power stations have the option or the feature where you can change this from 50 hertz to 60 hertz. If you're in North America, guys, and you don't know what you're doing, do not change this to 50 hertz. Do not change it, because you'll destroy electronics that way. Leave it alone if it works. There's an old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if you don't understand it, don't tinker with it. So that's a really cool thing, that it clearly says 60 hertz, and that way you don't make the mistake. Say they shipped it out and they accidentally had it preset to 50 hertz. You would see that here before you plug in your system. I think that's a very, very cool feature. Guys, I'll tell you what, I'm impressed. I am impressed with this system. Overall, it's let's go back to the main page and then we'll call it a day here. I know it's a very long review, guys, but I want to go over everything. People that like to hear me ramble, cool, stay on. Join as a subscriber. We need the subscriber family is almost 650 people already. It's growing fast. I also have a thing set up to where I'm linked with, or we are linked with, I think it's 44 different companies, guys, where if you use those links, we're affiliate, and we get a small commission if you use the links. But better than that, we post codes that you can use that are either exclusive to this channel alone, like they'll have some Rambling or Ramblin Bob codes or Ramblin Bob Review codes you can only use here, that save you a little bit extra when you buy this stuff, because this stuff is not cheap, guys. Look at this. When I was a kid, I could have bought a car for that. You still can. You could buy a used car for that, possibly. I don't know what the car prices nowadays. They're going mental in itself. But it's $2,799 right now. You can set up for these 4 interest-free payments. and on that thing you can click the link and use any codes. I don't know if I have any for Oukitel. I'd have to check, but I guess I'll leave it at that, guys. That was but wow, that was just, that's a hell of an upgrade from the P5001s that I have. Remember, I have 2 of those, and I spent 2,000, I think 2,500 on both of those. That's a lot of money, guys. I don't want to remember that. But if I trade those 2 and I could get this one, if they let me do that almost. But guys, this has been the Oukitel, or what I pronounce it, Acoupeur, a Burl, I believe it is, ABERL P5000 portable power station, 5,120 watt hour, 2,200 watt hour AC inverter, portable power station, legitly portable, because guys, it has wheels on it. Awesome, awesome. I hope you enjoyed this first look kind of / review. I'll see you on the channel, guys. Ramble on, be safe, travel safe, and I will see you next time on Ramblin Bob Reviews. Bye, guys.